Hey, sorry I didn't have quite enough time to make it into one video, so I'm going to make a small sort of second video that just looks at the last part of this, which is if you consider this triangle as our order of operations, we've got exponents, multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction. And remember, the top of this triangle is the symbol that just means do this first, break the order of operations, do this first, is the parentheses. So we're going to kind of look at the last page of your kind of notes and look at how we might tackle some of these problems with parentheses. Once again, I've got this kind of set up where we're going to talk about this one together, and I want you to turn and try to do this one by yourself, and then we'll reveal the answer, see how you did. We'll reflect on the learning target, and then you can move on with the discussion. There are also some other activities. There's a little bit of some practice. There's this Padlet, which is going to be kind of a challenge task that I want you to kind of think about. And then there is a quiz at the end that you can retake as many times as you want until you get hopefully higher than an 85%, and until you feel like you're really confident with this kind of skill. So let's kind of just talk about this last example here. I've got an example here with parentheses. So now parentheses means I got to do the parentheses first. And if there's a lot of things in the parentheses, I got to do all of those things first. I still have to follow order of operations, but I got to do whatever's in the parentheses first with order of operations. In this case, I just have just adding here. So I'm going to do 6 plus 8, which is 14. Then I'm going to copy everything else over in my expression. 10 times 2 minus, there's my 6 plus 8, which is 14. Then divide it by 2. Now I'm going to go back to my triangle. I did all of my parentheses. I don't have any exponents. So now I'm down to multiplication and division. Now I've got both multiplication and division, so I got to do the one on the left first. So 10 times 2 is 20. Then I'm going to rewrite everything else. 20 minus 14 divided by 2. Now I've got subtraction and division. This is the next strongest operation. Here I've got that as 14 divided by 2, which is 7. And so now when I take 20 and I subtract 7, I'm left with 13. So notice that really all I'm doing now is I'm just kind of taking that parentheses step and doing that first as kind of a focus to the order of operations. I want you right now to try this one. This is tough as it gets, other than maybe putting some other stuff inside parentheses or having parentheses inside parentheses, which you might see some, you might not. But this is as tough as it gets. Remember, you got to make sure you use that order of operations triangle. So it might be a good idea to just kind of sketch to the side what this might be, just so that you can use this as kind of your focus. Remember, you're always going left to right when you're in the same level of the triangle. But I'm just going to kind of briefly sketch this while you're unpacking that problem. And then when you feel like you're ready, pause the video, give it a shot, just you first, that's an E, just you first, and then when you think you got it, unpause the video and we'll talk about the next part. All right, so hopefully you've had a chance here to kind of do this video. Let's unpack the first step here. So in the first step, I've got the parentheses. 2 plus 8, that's 10. I rewrote everything else. Now, after the parentheses, I got to get to the top part, which is exponents, 6 to the third power. Now, this is where it's really important. You can use a calculator if you need to, but you got to remember that that means 6 times 6, which is 36, times 6, which is actually 216. So then when I evaluate that, I've got this kind of stage here where it's 6 plus 216 times 10 divided by 5. Now, notice this is the same level of the triangle, so I got to move left to right. Multiplication first and then the division. So 216 times 10 is 2,160. Rewrote everything else. Then when I did that divided by 5, I get 432. And I rewrote the 6 plus 432. And then when I add 6 to 432, I get 438. Woo! If you did that, then you are really making sense of this and you're doing right along with this learning target. Evaluating expressions using the order of operations. Remember, the 3 questions I wanted you to think about, and you can look over these videos again if you need to, and I want you to respond to them in the discussion, is what does it mean to use the order of operations? What does that actually mean? If somebody was to ask you, what does it mean to use the order of operations, what would you tell them? Secondly, Why does multiplication and division come before addition and subtraction? It's really important to not only to understand the order of operations, but to understand why it's that way. So if you missed that, go back into that first video and see if you can find it, because that's a really big deal. And then, how did you show work to make sure that you did not make small errors? There might be a few things that you might say with that one, but I want you to kind of generate some thinking around what are some really important things for you to be precise and accurate. I hope that this video was helpful for you, and I'm looking forward to your feedback, so feel free to send me something in Canvas or give me some feedback, and I'm going to try to make other videos if you think this is helpful, or I can try to find other things if you think that would be better. But I look forward to use problem solving, and good luck as you move through some of these other initiatives, activities, and discussions on your way to the quiz, and I hopefully will see you soon. Miss you all. Bye-bye.